One of Jesus' most famous stories is about the father that had two sons. Most people have heard about the younger son, the prodigal son, who took his part of the inheritance, went away and squandered it in poor living choices. But then he came home, changed his mind, and his father was so delighted to see him. He put his arms around him and threw a big party for him. But most people haven't thought much about the other half of this story, the older son. In fact, I didn't appreciate it very much until just recently. The older son was out working in the field, and as he came home that evening, he heard the party going on, celebrating his younger brother's return. And he was angry, and he wouldn't go into the party. Finally, his father came out to him, and he said, "Son, your younger brother was lost, but now he's found. He's come home, and we should celebrate." But the older son said, "I won't go in." And I often thought, well, what's so bad about the older son? He seems like he did pretty well. He obeyed what the father said, and he didn't go off and squander the money. But then one day I was in a discussion group with some Asian students and professors some years ago. And one of those students said, "That older son did wrong. He shouldn't have done that." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "That older son made his father come out to him, and he lost face. That's bad." And I said, "Well, maybe no one saw his father having to go out." And this student said, "I'm from a village, and when there's a party like this, everybody in the village comes. Everybody would know what happened." And then more recently, another Asian man said to me, "The older son stayed home, but he didn't have a good relationship with his father. If he had, he would have known the father's heart. He would have known that the father would want to celebrate if the younger son changed his mind and came home." So I began then through these Asian lenses to see a little different side to this story. The older son looks pretty good at first on the outside because he was obeying the rules and he stayed with his father. But then if we look a little deeper, we see he was full of bitterness and jealousy. And he said to the father, "I've worked for you and obeyed you all my life, but you never gave me a party to celebrate with my friends." And he wouldn't go in. And furthermore, he wouldn't show mercy to his younger brother when he repented and came home. So then I began to see a little different side to the older son when we look deeper. You know, Jesus ends his story with the older son outside and the father pleading for him to come in. I think maybe Jesus ended it there on purpose. He wants us to think about it. Did the older son go in or not? What do you think? Blessings.